To keep things short and sweet, because there really isn't too much to be said about this topic, we have some new leaks today coming from the Ghost of Hope about supposed Call of Duty 2025/Black Ops 7's, whatever it's called, its campaign. And the leaks are not looking good, which honestly, I'm kind of worried about, and it's a bit disappointing as well, because in my opinion, Black Ops 6's campaign really wasn't that great. I think it had some really fun gameplay missions. Gameplay-wise, I think it was a pretty solid campaign. Narratively-wise, it was terrible. It was bland, it was boring, it just didn't fulfill the hype at all. I mean, they really marketed it about the Gulf War and all of these real-world events with Saddam Hussein and it being a dark, gritty game, and that was all basically absent and was just for marketing purposes, and it basically ended up being mostly irrelevant for the campaign itself. The Pantheon are a completely boring faction. The post-launch story for Black Ops 6 so far has been pretty boring as well. It really seems like they're trying to capitalize off of the hype and the excitement that Black Ops Cold War got, which I think was a really good, soft reboot. It really felt like the classic Black Ops game, the very first one. It felt like it was really going back to its roots, and I think the new Perseus faction or ideology was a great one, and I think they did especially well with the post-launch story and making that engaging. It felt new and fresh, but it also felt nostalgic, tying into the original Black Ops at the same time. But Black Ops 6, in my opinion, narratively wise, has not been great, not just with regards to the campaign, the post-launch story, also regarding zombies, and it's in complete contrast to what I felt like Black Ops Cold War did, which, that game was made under a pandemic in really short constraints, and I still think they managed to achieve something pretty solid with that game. So, with them having another game this year, which if you are unaware, the leaks are going to be that it's going to be a Black Ops 2 sequel set around 2035, and it's going to be featuring such characters as apparently Woods is still going to be alive, kicking in his, I guess he's almost 100, I don't know off the top of my head his exact age by that point, but he's still alive somehow, and then we have David Mason, Alex Mason's son, will be involved as well, even though in the canon ending it's sort of a lot better that he chooses to leave the military, so he's going to be involved. And then there's apparently going to be a new villain that we don't know really much about. And I was hoping that this game would be good, because Black Ops 2's campaign was awesome, even though it was so different than Black Ops 1's. Black Ops 2's campaign was really, really good in my opinion, and I was really excited to go back to that era. And I think a big problem what has arisen here is that Treyarch or any Call of Duty developers, they shouldn't be making two games at once. I mean, we saw what happened with Modern Warfare 3 being rushed out in a very short time period. That's why that campaign didn't end up being great. But basically, what the leaks are saying is that, as you know, Ravensoft helped with not only Black Ops Cold Wars, but Black Ops 6's campaign. So it wasn't just a Treyarch project. Raven were largely heading a lot of that. So it took a lot of the weight off of Treyarch so they could focus on zombies and also multiplayer. But it seems like with Black Ops 7, apparently a lot of the Ravensoft employees who worked on the campaign have left, and it doesn't seem like they're getting much help for the campaign. So it does seem like Treyarch are mostly doing that, and most of the people who worked on the old campaigns have just left. So it's basically being rushed out in a very short period of time because they've just been working on Black Ops 6. They're still working on the post-launch for that game, and they're having to rush out this campaign basically. And that's not looking good. We still have questions about who is heading the project, because so far we didn't really know. Of course, we knew Treyarch would be involved in some capacity, but we didn't know who the assisting studios were and who would be the main head. It does really seem like it's going to be Treyarch basically. They're the first developers who have truly made two full-on games in a row with Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Obviously Sledgehammer did most of it for Modern Warfare 3, even though they had help from other studios. So basically, because they're rushing out the campaign in a short period of time, it sounds like it's going to be some sort of weird open world thing. Obviously, it was leaked the other day. It would be, a 4-player co-op campaign. And I was partially excited about that because I think a co-op campaign could be good. It's just never really been done right. They attempted it with Black Ops 3 and that campaign didn't turn out that great either. And then, of course, we had semi-open world campaign missions in Modern Warfare 3's campaign, but they were basically glorified Spec Ops missions with the open combat missions, and you couldn't play with other people. You're going to be able to play with other people this time around, but it seems like they're all going to be played on Avalon, which is basically a map that was supposed to release to Warzone this year, but instead we're getting nostalgia bait with Verdansk, which people seem to be loving. I'm totally fine for Verdansk to return. I just don't think it should be coming in exchange for fresh new content that all of the developers have worked hard on. And because it's getting canned, or either it's getting canned according to the rumors completely for Warzone, or it's just being pushed back for next year, we don't really know. It's basically the reason why they can't do a map rotation is apparently due to the game still being made for last gen consoles. So when they shift, which probably won't happen until Modern Warfare 4 in 2026, that'll probably be the point where they can have multiple big Warzone maps at once. So we could see, Avalon and also Verdansk simultaneously, but that software doesn't seem to be ready yet, so honestly, who knows if we're ever going to get Avalon. But because of that, they're basically reusing that for the campaign, and we're going to be seeing open world missions from the sound of it. It's being described as potentially even worse than Modern Warfare 3's open combat missions, which does not have, it doesn't instill a lot of hope in me for the game. So honestly, I'm not really excited for this campaign at all. I felt misled by Black Ops 6's marketing. They made the campaign seem like something it just wasn't. It just isn't, and it didn't follow up well on Black Ops Cold War's campaign. They tried to recreate basically what they did with Perseus, with the Pantheon, and it just was a dud attempt, a much worse attempt. They tried to recapitalize on that, and I don't know, narratively wise, what Black Ops 7 might be like. I mean, there's the chance, I guess, narratively it could be decent, and maybe the gameplay is just going to suck if it's some sort of weird open world thing on Avalon. It just, we don't really have many details, so it's hard to really talk about what it actually is. But the open combat missions weren't great, so yeah, I'm hopeful it'll be a bit better than that, just because you can actually play with other people. That obviously makes it a lot more fun and expansive, so hopefully it's a lot more true to a proper open world experience instead of some sort of Spec Ops experience. But yeah, they're trying to get use out of the Avalon map because, it might not even come to Warzone. It might get cancelled entirely, which is stupid because Avalon was literally made for Black Ops 6. It was supposed to be a 90s experience. I don't know if they're going to reskin Avalon at all to give it a near futuristic look, or if it's just going to remain the same because of the tight deadline. I really don't know. But yeah, it's not looking promising for this game. And, I say maybe the narrative could be good and the gameplay bad. Well, the narrative was terrible in Black Ops 6, but the gameplay was good, so it's not looking likely. I mean, the narrative's been very, very poor lately, so honestly, probably not looking good for narrative, probably not looking good for gameplay. I'm just hoping that at least zombies can get it right with the original characters returning, but it's really going to be hit or miss, definitely. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say, like I say, there's not really much to go on right now. We don't have the exact details about what the campaign's going to be like, so it's hard to speculate, but things are not looking promising, and I think it's the Call of Duty crunch schedule, the Call of Duty cycle. Treyarch should have been given room to breathe. Treyarch should not have been working on Vanguard zombies, Modern Warfare zombies. They should have just focused on their own goddamn game, and I think that hurt Black Ops 6. It didn't really have a true 4 years of development, in my opinion, because they had to work on moving a lot of the Treyarch systems over to the new Modern Warfare engine, especially for zombies. I think that's what really halted that. And then they had to work on these other zombies projects simultaneously, which took a lot of time away from Black Ops 6. I imagine lots of zombies and other content got cancelled as a result. And then they can't even really properly do Black Ops 6 post-launch content because they've also got to be worrying about Black Ops 7. If Janus Towers is the final map, if the DLC 5 rumors are false, we're still having the traditional 4 maps, but they're not as expansive as maps of old. I mean, Shattered Vale definitely is, but, I would say the Tomb isn't. And that would be fine if we were getting a map every single season, but I just don't think that's going to be the case because Treyarch have so much on their plate right now because they have to release Black Ops 7 and zombies for that as well, just down the line, just down the road. So yeah, let me know all of your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Of course, all speculation, all rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. It's always better to have your expectations as low as possible, because then on the chance that these end up being false, people can be excited. I mean, that's what happened with Shad Vale, which also came from the Ghost of Hope. He said, you know, it was going to be a small map, more on the scale of the Tomb or Liberty Falls, and it ended up being, it's actually a very expansive map. It's not even a medium map. It's not as big as, you know, a map like Terminus, but it's a really expansive map, and I think that's why people are loving Shad Vale right now, because they kept their expectations minimal. So yeah, bear that in mind. Even if the leak is wrong, I think it's a good thing in the sense it doesn't overhype us, because sometimes the leaks are true, but, you know, in our heads, we make it out to be a lot better than it ends up being once we actually get to play it. So that's also something to be cautious of. Leaks, both positive and negative, can hurt things in different ways, because they change our psychology and how we, you know, they change our expectations basically, and you know, you need to try and gauge your expectations versus reality in both ways. Negative and positive can both hurt things in different ways. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say now. Sorry, kind of rambling a lot, but let me know what you think of this news in the comments. Might be cooked. It might be cooked. And it's a shame, because I think Black Ops 6 really hasn't hit the nail. So I'm hoping, or at least I was hoping, you know, Black Ops 7 could sort of alleviate that, but it's not looking promising. But yeah, I'll see you with plenty more zombies videos to come. Just thought I would do this little tangential video with the about the campaign. Bye.